just be the best you and live according to your own values. Don't be what other people say, oh, you should be. Like, oh, you should, it's all this focus about, like, oh, being the alpha male, just be your fucking alpha self. Fuck all this shit, like, these rules and everything for, like, how you should act. Be authentic to you. Be 100% authentic and own your authenticity. I was telling my friend Harrison about this, that I was recording this episode. He actually co-hosted the last episode I did with JP Ross. And I was telling him, like, it's like a band, right? If you're in a band, there's the bass player and the drummer, and there's the guitarist, or there's the keyboardist, and there's the singer. They all play very different roles. Like, how can you compare them to each other? But, like, they all are needed in the band. So it's like there's people with different strengths, different talents. Like, my friend Harrison's better at sports, and, like, he's got more of the street starts. I'm more literary minded. I'm more creative, more the artist. But, like, now we're kind of working together, and our ways of thinking are kind of balancing each other out. And, like, I kind of help him in some areas, and, like, he helps me in other areas, because, like, we both have qualities that kind of balance each other out. And I think that's just, like, and also when I was telling him that about, like, the band members, he was actually getting ready for his football game, and, like, the coach heard that and then used it in his speech. And it's like, it just shows, like, how we're all connected. Like, something I said and I thought of doing something totally different ended up unintentionally inspiring this one coach to give a speech, and using that what I said about, like, the band and everything in it. It's like, there's no reason to compare yourself to somebody else or think, like, I should be more like this person, because your journey is your journey. Your talents are your talents. And you're a yin to somebody's yang. We're all yings to each other's yangs. And it's like, I'm sure I have some nerds listening to this podcast, so I'll mention, like, role-playing games. Like in Dragon Age. Or, like, some other role-playing game like that, where there's, like, a party of, like, a rogue and a wizard and a warrior and all this. You're not going to compare your mage to your wizard. Well, actually, no, that's the same thing. You're not going to compare your mage to your rogue, or your rogue to your warrior, because they all have very different skills and they all play very different roles, but they're all needed. But anyway, like, yeah, Dragon Age Origins was my favorite, and Sten, the character, was, like, he was talking about, like, the Qunari society, like, how everybody plays a different role, but the roles are all needed. And that's very true. And also, like, because Harrison, like, he's skilled in some areas I'm not, he can help me get better at those areas. So it's like, you're lacking somewhere, and but, like, somebody else can help you improve in those areas, or somebody else is lacking in some area, and you can help them improve in those areas. Or maybe I can help, like, somebody who's, like, a younger me get more confident, get more focused, get more, like, on their path, I think when you compare yourself to other people, instead of comparing yourself to who you used to be, like, when I compare myself to who I used to be, I'm like, wow, I come a long way. And I'm finally making peace with myself and where I am, and be like, I don't have to regret that I didn't get the hang of certain things at an earlier age, because it made me who I am, and it made me towards the destiny that I see unfolding before me now. I see good things for my future. I think I just took a while to get there, and I don't view my 30s as the end. I view this as the beginning. And honestly, I don't really want to surround myself anymore with people who just want to dig a grave and be dead when they're 25. I want to be around people who view every day as a new opportunity, and who are going to help me get where I want to be, and I'll help them get where they want to be. Because as long as you're alive and breathing, there's always a chance. There's always the moment. And I see great things for my future, and I'm happy and I'm excited about life. And I think when you compare yourself, you're not appreciating the diversity of human experience. Because if everybody was just the same, it'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it? Like, you can't compare somebody who grew up in a totally different culture than you. Like, some people and a lot of people in America, it's like you don't move out of the house by a certain age, you're a loser, right? Well, in other cultures, it's like, why are you moving out of the house? Like when I lived with people, I live by myself now, but the place I lived before, like I was mentioning, was mainly international students and people from other countries, and a lot of them didn't get why, when my parents lived 20 minutes away, why I was living on my own, why that was a thing, because they viewed it as like, I believe in my one roommate, she was from India. She said like in India, is viewed as like being selfish if like your family, you move away from your family when they're nearby. Like everybody stays at the home, I guess, until like they get married is what the thing is in a lot of cultures. And it's more common in America. It's more like you move out by a certain age, the independence. There's more of a focus on the independence in America than I think there is in other cultures. Like you can't win if you're trying to please other people because everybody has a different set of values and a different idea of what's right and what isn't. So it's like there's no point in comparing yourself to anybody because you're never going to win that way. Just live your truth. Live your story. Don't worry about your timeline. Don't worry about how long it takes you, if it takes you longer than somebody else. As long as you're going forward, as long as you're going in the right direction, that's all that matters. Trust your journey.